What if a single traffic stop could shatter a family's fragile world? Not through a violent crash, but through the desperate secret it forces into the light. In Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, a mother and daughter stand trembling on the edge of disaster, their entire future hinging on a simple speeding ticket. You are about to witness justice that is not blind but deeply seeing. You will learn the hidden cost of poverty's impossible choices and see how one judge's profound understanding can turn legal consequences into a lifeline. This is not legal theater. This is raw human reality. The air in the Providence courtroom is charged with a silent, screaming tension. Every person present feels it. Judge Frank Caprio surveys the scene from the bench. His usual warm demeanor is tempered by a sharp, perceptive focus. He sees two women before him. The daughter, young, clutching a citation, her knuckles white. Her entire body vibrates with visible anxiety. Beside her, her mother. The woman looks hollow, defeated. Her eyes are fixed on the floor, her face a mask of shame so deep it seems to physically press her downward. This is the portrait of a breaking point. The charge is speeding, a routine infraction. But the truth is a tangled web of survival. The daughter was driving, but the car, the insurance, the identity given to the officer? Nothing is as simple as it seems. The mother's driver's license is suspended. It has been for months. Unpaid fines from past struggles buried her legal ability to drive. Yet they both must work. Jobs wait across town. No bus route reaches them. A taxi is an unimaginable luxury. Their one functioning car is their only threat to solvency. So they made a choice, a terrible, necessary choice. They shared the daughter's valid identity. They became one legal driver between them, a dangerous game to keep the lights on. Judge Caprio leans into his microphone. His voice is calm, a steady anchor in the storm of their fear. "Tell me what's going on," he says, not to the docket, but to the people. The daughter opens her mouth. A stifled sob escapes first. She glances at her mother, seeking permission, strength, anything. The mother does not look up. She retreats further into her own shame. This silence speaks volumes. Caprio watches this dynamic closely. He sees the child protecting the parent. He sees the parent paralyzed by guilt. This case is no longer about a fine. It is about the brutal arithmetic of poverty, risk arrest or starve. The gavel has not moved, but the judgment has already begun, and it is a judgment they have been leveling at themselves for months. The first core truth is this: systemic poverty engineers impossible choices, forcing good people into breaking bad laws. The daughter, through choked whispers, begins to explain. The story spills out in fragments. Lost licenses, mounting debts, the relentless pressure of simply getting to work to earn the money to pay for the very car that gets you to work. It is a vicious, inescapable cycle. Judge Caprio listens, utterly still. He does not scoff. He does not interrupt with legal jargon. He absorbs the human logistics of their desperation. He understands that necessity is not an excuse in the law's eyes, but it is the undeniable engine of this crime. The mother remains a statue of anguish. Her silence is a loud, screaming confession. They chose to deceive an officer. They chose to present the daughter as the licensed driver for the mother's violation. It was a lie born of sheer survival instinct. "So you lied to the officer," Judge Caprio states. His words are clear, factual, and hang in the air like a cold fog. The statement is a pinprick that deflates the daughter's last bit of composure. Tears trace clean lines down her cheeks. The mother does the only thing she can. She wraps her arms tightly around her own body, making herself smaller as if to disappear from the bench's gaze. This reveals the second, deeper truth. Shame is a force that paralyzes long before any court can. Watch the mother's body language. It is a masterclass in silent suffering. Her bowed head, her averted eyes, the way she seems to lean away from her own daughter, as if her presence is a contaminant. The daughter carries the vocal burden, but the mother carries the emotional weight. Her shame is multi-layered. Shame for her failure to maintain her legal standing, shame for dragging her child into her mess, and a profound, gut-wrenching shame for being seen in this light by the world. Judge Caprio pierces through this silent wall. He addresses her directly, firmly. "Ma'am, look at me." The command is not harsh, but it is immovable. It requires her to engage, to stop hiding. With immense effort, she lifts her head. Her eyes, finally meeting his, are pools of pure, unvarnished apology. This is not about legal guilt anymore. This moment is about the human need to acknowledge failure. Caprio is demanding accountability not to the state, but to herself. He is making her participate in her own judgment, breaking the isolation of her shame. This is the first crucial step toward any possible redemption. Now, the third major point, authentic compassion is brutally honest. It does not look away from the wrong. Judge Caprio's tone shifts from inquiry to solemn gravity. "What you did was very serious," he says, his gaze holding the mother's. "You put your daughter in this position. You involved her in breaking the law." He lays out the stark reality they avoided. He lists the potential consequences they flirted with: crippling financial penalties, further license suspensions, even the looming specter of jail time for persistent violation. He connects this peril directly to you, the viewer. Have you ever felt that trap closing in? Have you ever stared at a mountain of bills and seen no ethical path over it? This is that moment, crystallized under fluorescent courtroom lights. Their fear is a universal language. The primal drive to provide for your family, even when the system's rules make it seem impossible, is a chord that resonates in every heart. Caprio does not dismiss their reason, but he refuses to sanitize their action. Then comes the fourth point, the pivotal twist. The moment of grace arrives not with a verdict of not guilty, but with a verdict of seen and understood. Caprio lets the severity of his words settle. The courtroom is dead silent. He then turns his attention to the daughter. "You were trying to help your mother," he acknowledges, validating her core, decent motive. He looks back at the mother. "And you were trying to work." With these two simple sentences, he separates their humanity from their violation. He recognizes the good intent buried beneath the bad decision. The entire dynamic in the room transforms. The adversarial energy evaporates. This is now a collaborative conversation about damage repair. Caprio establishes a new, non-negotiable condition for any help he might offer. "I need you to be honest with me from this second forward," he demands, his voice low and intense. This is the gateway. And then the mother's voice, unused and fractured, finally breaks through. "I am so sorry, Judge," she whispers. It is more than an apology to the court. It is an admission to herself, to her daughter, to the universe. It is the sound of ownership being taken. That whisper holds more power than any shouted plea. It is the key, turning in the lock. With that admission, the path forward, difficult, steep, but real, suddenly becomes visible. Here is the climactic fifth point. The highest form of justice is not punitive, but restorative. It does not seek to crush the already fallen, it seeks to give them the tools and the chance to stand up. Judge Caprio makes his move. First, he addresses the daughter's speeding ticket. He dismisses it. The financial threat to the young woman is removed. This act of mercy is significant, but it is just the prelude. His true focus remains on the mother, on the root cause, her suspended license. He does not simply wave a wand and reinstate it. That would be cheap grace, teaching nothing. Instead, he engineers a solution that demands participation. He offers a structured pathway. He will hold her case open for a specific, defined period, 60 days, 90 days. In that time, she must do the hard, incremental work. She must pay down the old fines. She must clear the debts that anchored her in illegality. He transforms an insurmountable lump sum into a possible series of payments. He makes her responsible for her own redemption. Let us bridge the 5 core values with crystal clarity. 1. Desperation born of systemic lack creates morally chaotic scenarios. 2. The resulting shame is a silent prison that prevents solution. 3. Real compassion demands confronting the full weight of consequences without flinching. 4. Grace becomes possible the instant we take full vocal ownership of our failures. 5. Ultimate justice constructs a ladder out of the hole. It doesn't just punish you for being in it. The tension ratchets up again as Caprio outlines this strict contract of trust. "If you do this," he says, each word deliberate, "we will clear everything. You will have a valid license." The mother's tears now change. They are no longer tears of dread. They are tears of overwhelming relief, mixed with the heavy, sobering understanding of the trust being placed upon her shoulders. The daughter reaches out, pulling her mother into a tight, clinging embrace. The buildup is complete. The judge has thrown them a rope, but they must climb it, hand over hand. The courtroom watches, understanding that the real judgment will occur in the quiet, difficult days ahead. The gavel's sound will echo in their actions. The final synthesis is this: true responsibility is not the enemy of mercy, it is its necessary partner. Judge Caprio masterfully demonstrated that principle. He held the letter of the law firm, refusing to minimize the offense, but with equal firmness, he held their humanity, refusing to define them solely by their worst moment. He drew a critical line between the person and the action. The consequence he issued was not a blind penalty, it was a personalized plan, a plan that traded passive punishment for active repair, a plan that restored their agency, their power to fix their own lives. This case teaches us that our mistakes cast long shadows, but they do not have to be permanent prisons. The escape route always begins with the brutal, liberating act of facing the truth. We must voice our shame. We must acknowledge the damage both to ourselves and to others. We must then accept that the road back is made of small, difficult, consistent steps. External help can offer a map and a chance, but the walking is our own burden and our own glory. So, here is a question to sit with in your own quiet moment. Where in your life are you avoiding a hard truth because the short-term cost of acknowledging it feels too high? What is the long-term price to your integrity, your relationships, your peace of that continued avoidance? If this raw, unvarnished look at justice, mercy, and the human spirit has gripped you, your next moment is critical. You must see the case that defined this very principle. Click the video on screen right now, Judge Caprio's most heart-wrenching case, the father who couldn't stop crying. Witness a man broken by the system and see how one profound courtroom encounter rebuilt him from the ground up. The lesson continues. Watch it immediately.